If you know your personality type, you can avoid a lot of problems.
Enneagram expert Ian Cron.
The Enneagram is for personal transformation and development of self-knowledge.
It gives you this language that I haven't had before.
Once you know that that's a possible weakness, you can do all kinds of stuff to make sure you don't fall into the traps of it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Rachel Cruze Show podcast. As always, I am so glad that you're here. And this episode is going to be really fun because it's all about you. That's right. And how your personality type can help you win with money. So in this episode, we're going to talk all about how our personalities shape our money habits. And we're also going to have on Enneagram expert Ian Cron. Now, if you don't know what the Enneagram is, don't worry. We're going to explain all of that here in a bit. And on a personal note, as Rachel Cruze, I can tell you I'm obsessed with the Enneagram. I love it. It was a total game changer for me. And Ian will explain our strengths and weaknesses when it comes to money. But before he comes on, I want to talk to you about your money type because we all have one. So take a listen. So when you think about your personality, we all have money tendencies, okay? Some are good, some are bad. Some take us closer to where we want to be, while others, well, they kind of keep us far away from our goals. But here at Ramsey Solutions, one of the things that we found time and time again is that over the years, there are kind of two spectrums of how people handle money. The first is, are you naturally a spender or a saver? This is kind of self-explanatory. You can probably quickly identify which one you are. Like, do you just enjoy spending money? Like, it's fun. Well, if that's you. I'm a spender, naturally. I just love spending money. I'm good with it. It's fun. It's freeing. It's great. The second group of people, it's a little bit more like, okay, I'm a saver and I feel better if I get some extra cash. I'm probably going to just put it away for later. You just don't feel the need to spend it right away. Then you're a saver. But to know where you are in the spectrum is really key. Now, the second spectrum is, are you a nerd or free spirits? Now, in Financial Peace University, which is our 9-week course, if you've not gone through it, people, you need to go through it. But we really explain this in detail because there are two types of people when it comes to money and especially budgets. Again, the nerd and the free spirits. The nerd loves to do the budget, okay? The nerd is one of those people that are like, oh, I feel organized all the time. I love details. I like being in control. I get stressed out if I don't know what's happening. I mean, just everything is just so lined up and it's just, yes. And especially with your money, like you're the one probably with spreadsheets or you love doing the budget. It's like, yes, that's the nerd. Now, on the other spectrum, it's the free spirits over here. And listen, I'm a free spirit, so I can speak from personal experience. We're the best. I'm just kidding, no. But free spirits, listen, we're just not as worried. Everything is going to work out. Budgets, budget feels kind of restricting or confining at first. And generally speaking, free spirits, yes, we want the basics taken care of course, but we want to have some fun and it's all going to work out. That's a free spirit. So figuring out which one you are is really important. And so I decided to go into my Facebook group and do a quick poll. So I was like, I'm curious where you land. Because here's another thing, is naturally people think that nerds are automatically savers. And that is not true. You could be a nerd and love to do the budget, but you're a spender or vice versa. So 50% of my Facebook group are nerd spenders. Yes, you guys love doing a budget, but you still will spend the money and have some fun. I love that. 32% of you are nerd savers. 12% of you are free spirit spenders. That's me, I'm part of the 12%. And 6% of you are free spirit savers. But if you're not sure which one you are, click the link in the show notes to take my nerd versus free spirit quiz. And send it to your spouse if you're married to see which one they are, because it's always fascinating to see. All right, it's time to talk about one of my favorite things, the Enneagram. Yes. Now, some of you love it. Some of you have no idea what this is. Some of you know what it is, but you hate it. But listen, I'm just speaking from personal experience. I love anything when it comes to self-awareness. This probably started in my childhood. We can go back a few years. Yes, I remember my dad brought home an assessment called DISC when I was like 9 years old and had to read out all these questions and filled it out for me as I answered everything because I didn't know what half the words meant. And he was like, okay. And he sent it in and came back and he's like, all right, You're a high DI, Rachel. And so early on, like understanding your personality and taking these assessments was just like a part of my upbringing. So Myers-Briggs, DISC, like all of those things I've done. And I love it. I think it's really, really fascinating. Some people are like all freaked out and they're like, don't put me in a box. And I'm like, you can put me in a box and then give me a whole 6-page outline of who I am. I think it's fabulous. I love it. And so I heard about the Enneagram a few years ago. And I kind of was like, what is this? Oh, it's just another one. It's not that big of a deal. And then people at work were like really talking about it. And I was like, okay, I'll take the test. And you guys, again, personal opinion, but it was the most accurate, detailed, layered approach of how I function in life. Like it was crazy. I mean, as I was reading it all, I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And then Winston took it and we were like, oh my gosh, this is Winston. And then our two numbers, because you get numbers with the Enneagram, we like looked up the marriage of the two numbers and we were like, this is us. Like it was unbelievable. And so again, what that revealed to me was self-awareness, understanding who you are, understanding your strengths, understanding your weaknesses. Because when you can understand why you perceive the world the way you do and why you see it the way you do and how you see it the way you do, even when it comes to your money, it helps you win. When you're self-aware, you can win with your money, you can win in your relationships, you can win at your job. Like so much comes out when you are self-aware. And so this is what's really key. And to help us, specifically with the Enneagram expert Ian Cron is coming on. And I'm really excited because this interview, it's one of my favorites ever. So it's coming up next. Ian, thanks for coming.
I'm really delighted to be here.
Well, I'm pumped. We laughed earlier because I was like, we did a whole show on Disney World, which I love. And now we're doing a segment on the Enneagram, which I'm obsessed with. So those of you guys, you may have heard about the Enneagram. Some of you have no idea what we just said. You have no idea what this is even about. Ian's going to explain all of that in a second. Some of you hate the Enneagram because everyone in your life is talking about it and you're annoyed by it. Stay with us. Stick around. And others of you are probably like me, and I may put you in that camp where you just love it. You're fascinated by it. It's so interesting. It's helpful. It's been a big part of my life in different relationships. So, Ian, for those people that are like, what's that word even, Enneagram? Like, what is this thing? How would you explain it?
So the Enneagram is an ancient personality typing system, and it teaches that there are 9 basic personality types in the world, one of which we gravitate toward and adopt in childhood just as a way to cope and feel safe in the world. And what's really important to understand is that each of those types has an unconscious motivation or driver that powerfully influences how that type acts, thinks, and feels, and how it sees the world, how it relates to daily realities.
Yeah, so fascinating. Okay, so the 9 basic types, can you go through them fairly quickly? Yes.
Yeah. 9 different types of human beings in the next 2 minutes.
I know.
Okay.
Describe all the human race.
Yeah, here we go. All right. So ones are called the perfectionists. Yeah. These are meticulous, hardworking, reliable, conscientious, detail-oriented people who have a compulsive need to perfect themselves, others, and the world.
It's good. So these are the kind of people, I was laughing with a friend because she's like, I'll walk into a party and she'll be like, I'll see how the food's set up. And she's like, no. Why would you put the sauce on? No, that needs to go here. Like she can dissect even that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's so funny.
Well, we talk about the dishwasher test.
Okay.
Do you know what the dishwasher test is?
Yes, I've heard this, but I love it. So
the dishwasher test is just load a dishwasher in front of someone. And if after you load it, they go to it, and then they start reloading the dishwasher you just loaded, chances are pretty good you have a 1 on your hands. Yeah,
so pretty good. Yeah. I love it. Now the twos, my sister's a 2.
These are 2s, 3s, and 4s are all heart people.
Yeah.
Right? So 2s are called the helpers, and they have a compulsive need to meet the needs of other people. Right? They want to help and love and support others in order to win the appreciation of other people, the love and appreciation and approval of other people. Remarkable human beings. When they're healthy, they're like, their love could warm a city, you know?
Yeah.
They're fantastic human beings. 3s are called the performers or the achievers. They have a need to succeed or to appear successful and to avoid failure at all costs. Okay. 4s are called the individualists, or sometimes the romantics. These are people who have a need to be special and unique, okay?
And you're a 4, aren't you?
I am.
Yes. I listen to his podcast all the time, so I know everything about Ian. Okay, so I'm a 3, but I need help, Ian.
Yeah.
I'm having this like crazy between a 7 and a 3. I don't know. We'll talk about it a little bit, but I'm the
here.
3. I'm the 3.
Good.
Yes.
All right, 5s.
Yes.
Right? They're called the investigators. They're analytical, emotionally detached, oftentimes, very, very private people who have a need to understand and perceive anything. These people are information junkies. They are constantly gathering information, really to fend off feeling overwhelmed by the world.
Yes.
Right?
It's my husband. Okay, that's why Winston Cruz has never appeared on the show.
Seriously, you're married to a 5?
I'm married to a 5, yep.
Wow.
I know. And like the one thing, I'm like, babe, come on the show. And he's like, that is the last thing in him. It's the last thing.
Oh my gosh.
But he supports me. Like, I feel very affirmed
Totally.
and all of this. But yes, he just doesn't want it. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So they're very private people. I appreciate that.
Very, very, very private.
Yep.
6s are called the loyalists, sometimes the devil's advocate or the loyal skeptics.
Okay.
Right? We think there are more 6s in the world than any other type.
Oh, seriously? Interesting.
And we think there are fewer 4s in the world than any other type. So,
Which 4s probably love. They
we
probably love that you're unique.
being special and unique. There are so few of us in the world.
I
Yeah, that's
appreciate that.
totally our thing, right? So, so 6s, they are worst case scenario thinkers who want to feel more than anything else safe and secure in what feels to them to be a very unpredictable, chaotic, and dangerous planet that we live on.
Okay.
7s are called the enthusiasts, right? I have a son who is a 7. I like to say about 7s that they suffer from pronoia, the opposite of paranoia. Pronoia is the belief that everyone is conspiring for you to have fun. That is sort of this. They are the joy bombs of the Enneagram. And they're fun-filled, spontaneous people who love adventure, and although in service to avoiding difficult or what we would call afflictive emotions, uncomfortable feelings.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. It's good.
8s are called the challengers, sometimes the bosses.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
8s have a need to assert power and control over the environment and other people in order to mask weakness and vulnerability within themselves. What feels like conflict to you feels like connection to an 8.
Yes.
And really what feels like intimidation to you or I feels like intimacy to an 8. So that kind of
challengers. Yes.
Yeah, that's how they connect.
Yes.
Man. That's how they connect with people.
That's good. Yep.
So, all right, 9s.
Nines,
They're
last
called,
ones,
I'm
yes.
married to a 9.
Okay.
I am the father of a 9. One of my
Sweet.
daughters is a 9.
Yes.
The other one's an 8.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
So 9s are called the peacemakers. They are often known as the sweethearts of the Enneagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So 9s want to maintain the peace. They want to maintain connection with other people and avoid conflict at all costs. Right.
Which is so funny. The number is next to
Right.
an 8. So that was one of my questions is there why are they in the order they're in?
Yes. Well, one thing to be sure is it's not reflecting a hierarchy.
Yes.
Right. There's no number that's better than another. It's not like 1s are the best and 9s, sorry. That's not what it is. These are all strategies. Right?
Yes. Which is like subconscious, right? To it
Yes.
until you're aware. But like
Exactly.
that's what's like, and that's what I love about it, you guys, is this whole episode is about self-awareness.
Yes.
And understanding when you understand how you're wired, the way you are, why you are, it affects your money, it affects your relationships, everything in your life. And so understanding this is so key. And the Enneagram has been one of the tools that puts language to it. I mean, I've done every type of, Myers-Briggs, DISC, all of that.
Yep.
But it's on a different level.
It is.
And so I would love for you to go through the numbers and how each personality interacts with money.
Yeah.
Because it's how we all interact. And it's interesting when you put your personality to it, what unfolds.
Yeah. And you know what? I've thought about this topic a lot. And so I've been really excited about doing this show.
Okay. So
Because I have. I've been thinking to myself like, oh my gosh, like understanding economics or personal finance, your relationship with money through the lens of personality.
Yes.
Like actually, if you know your personality type, you can avoid a lot of problems.
a lot of mistakes, if you
Right.
know. Amen.
Right?
Yes.
And if you
So
know
true.
where your gifts are and your challenges are, and you gain self-awareness around them, you can spot them before they undo you,
Yes.
right?
It's good.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's true. It's true. Yes.
All right, let's talk about ones. All right. I have not met a lot of ones who are in debt.
Yes.
They're very concerned about budgeting. They're very concerned. I mean, they're ethical and they're principled people.
It's good.
Now, the trap for them could be moving from responsibility with money to rigidity with money. Maybe overly criticizing themselves and judging themselves for not doing it well enough. And if they're not careful, judging other people for not doing it well enough.
Yes, that's good. So we talk about having nerds and free spirits are kind of two camps people live in. And so if you're like a nerd on steroids, then you probably could relate being a one of like, this is how it is and this is what you do and it works. Like you just do you do the plan, this is it. And so that control a lot of times could come, so good.
Twos, generosity to the max. And
serve. And
they want to serve. Now the problem with that is overgiving. And sometimes these are crazy gift givers. It's like, I'm just going to give without any thought.
That's good.
And I'm going to call it love.
Yes.
When actually it could be enablement. More than
that it
love,
goes into.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, threes. The upside is they are goal-crushing machines. They get things done, productive as heck. The downside is they could fall into the trap of using money as a way to project an image of success. They'll buy status symbols, right? Some what I would call success markers.
Totally. Yes. Right? Oh yeah.
So they're the guy or the gal that are driving the maybe the Beamers they can't afford, buying the homes they can't afford, joining the clubs they can't afford, or they can afford.
Sure.
But they're
happy to show you because
they're trying to message success because they confuse success with love.
Yes, that's good.
Right?
That's good.
So fours are tricky.
Okay.
All right. Fours might think that budgeting is beneath them. They can
it doesn't allow the life and creativity to go.
That's for the little people.
Okay.
The little people need to worry about money. I'm an artiste, and I'm above such mundane topics like finances.
That's so good.
Right?
Yes, yes.
Fives. Now you're married to a five.
I'm married to a five.
Let me see if I can nail this.
Okay. I can't wait.
All right.
It's probably true.
All right. So is Winston a minimalist? Okay,
he does.
Now, I have never met.
You've never met Winston.
Let's just be completely honest right now, right?
So I would say he is the quintessential quality over quantity.
Yes.
He will invest in nice things, but there's few of them.
Right.
But yes.
Right. Does he hold on to them long past their expiration date?
If I could tell you all of the shirts that I have had to throw away from Winston that has his initials on the back in Sharpie from camp.
Yes. Yeah.
From like college. I'm like, babe, we have got to get rid of this. So yes.
Yes.
Amen.
I mean, I could keep going on this. Trust me.
This is unbelievable.
They don't win.
It's crazy.
I've never met a five who won a fashion show. I can just tell you right now. Essentially because
until he marries Rachel Cruz.
That's right.
I took him to Nordstrom and I gave him a makeup.
You got it all worked out for him? Okay.
No, he's great. He's great.
Here's the great thing about fives.
Yeah.
Fives are minimalists because they are very committed to self-sufficiency.
Yes.
And they want to conserve energy. And lots of stuff demands lots of energy.
And it's chaos. It becomes
chaotic and overwhelming and too much for them. A problem for a five can be that they can spend a lot of time researching what to do with money.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
How to invest and how to do all this stuff and not actually execute on the plan.
And go through with it.
Right?
Yep.
They can get a little distracted. They go down the wormhole of knowledge.
Of Googling and looking up things and researching. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Totally.
That's so funny.
Sixes, these loyalists are chronic worriers.
Okay.
And a pitfall for them can be they're always looking to outside authorities to make decisions for them. And that can be a problem around finances, right?
Interesting.
Because there's some good people out there and there are some not so good people out there, right? And so I think for sixes, though, on the upside, they are so earthy and practical. And they can live within a budget like ones can and fives can, right?
Yep.
Twos, threes, fours have a much harder time than ones and fives and sixes like sticking to a budget.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Yes, yes.
Sevens.
Having fun. Just
the impulsivity, though, it can get them into so much trouble with money. And really, it can.
Yes.
I have seen more credit card debt around sevens because it's like fun, spontaneity. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Let's just take this trip. Let's have that meal. This
is fun. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Yep. I can see that.
Now with eights, these are people who will just, this is going to sound like the wrong word, but it is the right one.
Yeah.
They have a lust for life. It's like gusto. That's what it is, gusto. They just, they're all in or they're all out. They go big or they go home.
Yes.
It's, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So they can gobble up life and money can fly out the door.
Mm-hmm.
But here's something to their credit. My daughter is an 8.
Yep.
The first thing she did when she left college, she was obsessed about it, was no debt.
Interesting.
Here's why. They don't want to be controlled by anybody else.
Oh, that's good.
They don't want to be controlled by the bank. They don't want to be controlled.
Someone else telling them what to do.
Or someone owning them, being at the mercy of the bank.
Yep.
No way, right?
Interesting.
But they're excessive people.
Mm-hmm.
Excessiveness is a characteristic feature of 8s. Everything is too much. They eat too much. They play too much. They exercise too much. They work too much. It's always too much.
Interesting.
Right? Well, too much can get expensive.
That's right. That's
you're
right.
not careful,
That's right.
right?
And anything, yeah. Tangible,
Last one,
sure.
9s. So 9s, wonderful sweethearts. They get easily distracted. Budgeting's hard for 9s because they're easily distracted. They get going on a budget and then they suffer mission drift. They forget about it. They're a little disorganized if they haven't done the work.
Yes.
If they haven't gotten some self-awareness and done some work, they're easily distracted and taken off task.
Okay.
So I'm always telling 9s, you need a to-finish list. Not a to-do list. You need a to-finish list.
To go, yes.
Yeah,
because
to go
isn't there
the whole
a
mile.
phrase with 9s that they can like sleepwalk through life?
Yeah, as my wife likes to say, we 9s start off slow and then we taper off.
Okay, yes. So it's everything's just a little bit more
Hakuna Matata all the time.
Yes.
But Hakuna Matata can lead to stacks of bills on the dining room table that you
That's not being
started
done.
half opened and then you got distracted and went off to the kitchen to do something else.
Yes.
So every
good.
type has its own lens through which I think it understands and sees money. And we're just scratching the surface of what we could talk about.
It's amazing how you can take what you've learned about yourself and not only avoid problems when it comes to your money, but know how you interact with it and why you see money the way you do. Seriously, dig into this stuff, understand who you are. It's so huge because I'm like in this crisis between like being a 3 and a 7. I've taken all the tests and all of it. So anyways, we need to like analyze me. So let's do that next.
All right.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation with Ian because don't worry, there's more ahead. That's right. But I just wanted to stop for a second and just remind you again, bringing back to this idea of self-awareness and how huge it is, not only just in your life, but with your money, understanding why you handle money the way you do. It's going to help you form better money habits. And just being self-aware it's such a massive thing in life. So I love it. I'm on a kick on it, obviously. And so next, Ian and I are going to dive in to me. That's right. You're about to hear like a counseling session because I've struggled between being a 3 or a 7. I've taken all the tests. It says I'm a 3. There's just things about it I don't see myself in. So I take the remaining part of the podcast and have like a personal counseling session with Ian Cron that you get to listen in on. So it's very heavy Rachel Cruz stuff. So just prepare yourself about me. I'm being very selfish in this time, and I just wanted to talk all about me. So that's what you're going to hear. But again, it's so great just to be enlightened in yourself. So if you have people in your life that you can talk to about yourself and how they perceive you, because Ian makes a point here later on in the podcast about how we're not always the best at looking at ourselves. Sometimes we need other people to speak into that. And so, again, I took advantage of having the Enneagram expert Ian Cron in. So this is the time diving in to figure out if Rachel Cruz is really a 3. So hope you enjoy. Okay, Ian, we're gonna talk about me for a second because
Let's talk about you.
I'm seriously so glad you're here because I've been doing this maybe 2 years, Enneagram stuff. And I'm not like, I'm not into the subtypes. Like I'm not like super deep into it, right? I mean, I know enough. But I've taken test after test, but it says that I'm a 3. But here's what I struggle with, because you talked about this in the last segment, that 3s, they confuse success and love. I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm a 3. Like I literally feel like if I didn't do this job, people in my life would still love me. Like I don't feel like my identity is like, my relationships are dependent upon what I do and my job. Like I really don't.
Right.
Like I think about Winston and I'm like, he loves what I do. He thinks I'm great at it. I feel very affirmed by him. I mean, if he listens to something, he'll text me and be like, babe, that was so good. Like he's a fan of like what I do. But like if I told him tomorrow I wanted to stop, he'd be like, okay. And honestly, same with my dad. Dad and I have had these like over 10 years of me working here. We've talked very openly and vulnerably about family business and being part of this. And I'm so confident that if I tomorrow was like, I don't want to do this job, my dad would 100% still love me and be excited for me. Like, I mean, that, I think my mom, my in-laws, my best girlfriends, I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm not like so success oriented.
Okay.
Okay, now go. That's my heart. That's what I've been thinking about.
All right.
What does that mean?
Well, it could mean a lot of things, right? But let's sort of zero in on a couple of things.
Okay.
You thought that the second possible type you might be is a 7.
Yes.
Why is that?
I love fun. I love having fun. I love going places. I'm super extroverted, friendly. I love people. I love experiences. I'm always game to do stuff. So a 7 avoids pain. I don't avoid pain. I'm great with digging into hard stuff. Like once I do counseling a lot, I'm very comfortable in conflict and engaging in pain, which 7s aren't. So that's where I don't relate to a 7.
How do you do with sadness?
I don't feel like I have a lot of sadness in my life. That's not an emotion I go to very often.
Here's the thing. It really comes down to your unconscious motivation.
Okay.
Right? So the unconscious motivation, you've already said, of a 3 is a need to succeed.
Yes.
Right? To appear successful and to avoid failure at all costs. For 3s,
I don't like to fail, right? Like I just launched my contentment journal, and if it sold 2 copies, I'd be like, oh crap, that wouldn't be good. Like,
well,
you know
nobody
what I mean?
likes to fail, right? But
so
some people really don't like to fail, and 3s really don't like to fail. So, for example, let's say you really did sell only 2 copies of that journal.
Yes.
A 3 would then write another book about how I succeeded at moving through the failure of my last book. I mean, like they'll find a way to spin a failure into a success like that so that they don't have to have the appearance of failure.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking
Yes,
about? Like
yes.
it's the guy who falls from the heights as a CEO and then writes a book about what I learned from, whatever it was that took me down,
Totally.
And they spin it into a success.
Yes. Okay, let me say this. So here's a great example
Okay.
of where I could be a 3.
Okay.
Because aren't you supposed to go to like your unhealthy, like when you're insecure and all of that and what comes out there?
Yes.
Is that a good place to determine your number?
It won't hurt. Yeah, you go to the low side of 9 if you're a 3. When you're not doing well, you start to be
A 9.
lethargic. You lay on the couch. You pay less attention to your appearance. You'd be watching television. You know what I mean? Like kind of numbing out. You'll be, but you're very resilient as a 3. You have a lot of energy, so you bounce back fast
Yes.
from defeat.
Yes.
And then you'll be thinking like, okay, well, how do we turn this into a success? And you get back out there and start working again.
So I think my problem is I keep relaying my work to my 3-ness, or like when I hear success and all that. But that's it could be true as a mom or a wife.
Yeah.
So like, let me take work out because I think that's where I get muddled sometimes.
Right. So 3s, 8s have more energy than any other number on the Enneagram.
Okay.
But the most productive number on the Enneagram are 3s.
Yeah.
They are goal-crushing machines. They care deeply about productivity.
Yeah.
They see opportunity before other people see it.
Mm-hmm.
And they know the quickest way to get to it. They see the path towards grabbing that piece of opportunity and just leveraging it faster than anybody else does.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're not necessarily as entrepreneurial as 7s are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're the most competitive. They're very ambitious.
3s are?
Go-getters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wicked competitive.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, so you know what a funny thing Winston and I do sometimes?
No.
And we do it probably I'd say at least 4 times a week.
Right.
We'll be home, we'll be doing dinner and all of this. And I'll say, okay, my top 3 goals, what I want to accomplish. I want to unpack my suitcase.
Right.
I need to put my makeup up. They're small goals, but I say out loud, okay, the 2 things I want to accomplish before I go to bed. And we'll literally say out loud the things that we want to do before we go to bed. So is that very 3?
Yes.
But they're not lofty goals. It's not like
you guys just like lists.
Yeah, I do love. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You just got a list for everything because you just love. It's like intoxicating to
Is
check
that a
something.
3?
That's very 3-ish.
Oh crap! I'm a 3.
The number you least want to be is the number you are.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Usually, I tell people in workshops and stuff. I'll say, okay, now when you start to feel squeamish when I start describing a type, it's not unlikely that I'm stalking in your neighborhood and you're starting to feel like I may be getting too close to stuff. No, you were focusing so much on the negative side, not the negative side, but the potential shadow or dark side of 3s.
Yes.
Don't do that. Like 3s when they're healthy are like the most amazing human. Every number on the Enneagram is beautiful. It's wonderful.
Yes.
When it's self-aware, they have self-knowledge, they're doing their work, and they're just aware, I can go to this dark place. I can become shallow. I can become a chameleon. I can, start to work a room to win admiration and success. I'll go out and I'll buy the nice car. I'll go buy a big home. Anything to let people know I'm, a success, right? But that's not what a healthy 3 looks like. That's not, that's like, you're locked into that as a pattern for the rest of your life. You can, once you know that that's a possible weakness, you can do all kinds of stuff to make sure you don't fall into the traps of it.
Yes.
When you're feeling great and you're healthy and self-aware, you will act or look like a healthy 6.
Oh, interesting.
You're a team player. You don't need to drive the bus. You can just be another bozo on the bus, as we like to say. You are interested in seeing other people win, not just yourself. You're less concerned with flaunting your own success, but actually helping other people realize their own success.
Yes. Are you thinking I'm a 3?
I never tell people what type.
You don't?
No, I don't. I'll tell people, I think you ought to, do some research around this type, Now, you mentioned subtypes, and this is something I would...
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. What subtypes are, what they teach is that there are really 27 types, right? There are 9 core types, but
3
there
of
are
each.
3 variations or hues, right?
Okay.
Of each type. And oftentimes when people can't figure out their type, it's because really they need to look at subtypes of their type, right? So I would encourage you, go read 3 subtypes.
And it's what are they again?
They're called self-preservation, social, or bonding.
Okay.
All human beings have 3 core instincts. One is for self-preservation or personal survival.
Okay.
Right? The second would be a social. They're all related to survival, by the way, right?
Okay.
So the next one would be the social instinct, which is, where am I in relationship to the herd? You know what I mean? Like, where am I in the hierarchy of things?
Interesting.
Right?
Yes.
In the world, because you need to know where you are in the herd to survive.
Yeah.
And what's your relationship to it? The last one is bonding, right? Which is, you and that special other.
Okay.
Right? That one-to-one relationship with another person.
Yes.
That too is related to survival, right? And to, the ongoing presence of your gene pool, right? Into the world, right? Going forward, right? So now each of those has a different expression under each type, right? So it's really helpful for people to get down to that next level if they're still confused about their type.
Okay.
Right? So it's tremendously helpful.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If Winston were sitting here right now, what would he say he most values about you and what other people most value about you?
He's always said, I am like, oh my gosh, what did he say? He said it actually in our vows, which was so sweet. How did he word it? He said, she makes my life easier.
Why?
Because I do think I can get stuff done.
There it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Productivity.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? We tend to marry our deficits.
That's probably true. Right? Well, it's so funny. Like yesterday we were talking about this interview because I was like, Ian's coming on. And he said, and I was like, he has to like analyze me because I cannot. I was like, I just am struggling. And he like started laughing. He's like, babe, you're a 3. Like, I know you're not supposed to type other people, but he was like, you're not a 7. You're a 3, Rachel. And I was like, no, but he is like 100% confident I'm a 3 because he was like in relationships, like in marriage. I mean, he was like, take work out of it, but like in every other facet, whether it's friendships, parenting, whatever. Like he's like, it's the 3-ness is.
How patient are you with people who slow you down?
Oh no, I don't do that.
Someone who's standing in the way of more productivity.
Yeah, just get it done.
See, so that's a very 3 feature, right? Well, let me give you an example of this, right?
Okay.
I won't say his name because we both know this person.
Oh, fascinating.
He's a 3. I know that when I sit down with this person, I'm a 4. I can talk feelings all day long. I'm a therapist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was a songwriter. I write books. I can talk feelings all day long.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I know with this person, when I sit down with them, I have to go like this. How you doing? Doing great, man. How you doing? Good. And then I'll say literally something that's completely not my thing.
Yes.
Right? I'll say, what do you want to talk about today? And how much time do we have?
It's good. Yes.
And I just tune into the fact that this person is a 3. They don't want to talk about my feelings.
Yeah.
They don't want to read about the latest novel I'm reading.
Yes.
They have stuff to do.
Yes.
And so because I know the Enneagram, this is so helpful. I don't waste his time.
Yes.
And I don't create relational dissonance.
So I will say this though. I do love to like talk though. So like if I know I have a set amount of time. So like these shoots, for instance, we always block a lot of time for them.
Right.
So I know there's just so much wiggle room that I'm like, we're going to get done early anyway. So like, let's talk about the last episode of, Breaking Bad that I just watched or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Because I love connection with people. I do love to talk.
Right.
So there is that in me that's there. But I was in a meeting earlier, actually, and they had it blocked for a certain amount of time. And it just, like, there was like 10 seconds where no one was saying anything. And I was like, what are we doing? Like what
are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah,
We're just sitting here.
Yes.
And
well, threes are all about doing.
Okay.
It's all about doing and getting stuff done.
Yep.
And let's move on to the next project so that we finish that one, then the next one comes zooming right in front.
Yeah.
So part of what the three has to learn is I'm not what I do.
Yes.
That people can value me for who I am on the inside, not just for what I accomplish on the outside.
Yes. Okay. So this is my struggle with that. Is I believe that though.
Okay.
I really do.
Live with it for a while.
What do you mean?
Well, try it on. Like I tell people, okay, if you're unsure, make a point of observing yourself, like consciously observing your behaviors throughout the course of a day.
Okay.
And listen, and there are people who love you and are close to you, like Winston, who, the problem with personality is it's with us all the time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we're not transparent to ourselves. We're not fish bowls. You can't just look inside and go, oh, there's my type. There's my unconscious motivations, right?
Right.
But the people around us who know us best can really help us figure out our type. They can't be the source of, you can figure it out.
Yes.
But people who know you really well can really help you on the journey. And if Winston said 3 and you're, I'd pay attention.
Yes.
That's what I did.
I mean, that's how I've been living with being a 3 for like 2 years now, because everything I've taken is a 3. But it's just been in the last like 60 days. I just keep reading about it. I'm like, I feel like they just care too much about what people think. And I just don't feel like I function like that a lot. So that was my struggle.
Well, maybe you don't. I mean, you may be a 3 that, not every single characteristic of a type needs to be met in order for you to be that type. So in other words,
okay, that's fair.
If you meet 70% of the criteria for 3, I think you're probably a 3.
Okay, that's fair. That
right?
gives me permission to
no one ever is
stuff.
going to fulfill every. So if and also remember this. This is super important. You contain all 9 types within you.
Yes.
You're just dominant in one type.
That's good.
But there are times when I'm a perfectionist. There are times when I, catch me in a traffic jam. You'll see an 8 Challenger come out real fast.
Totally.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm a real 5 when it comes to music.
Yes.
Right? You know what I'm saying? In other words, we have all that, but I tend to default to a 4's worldview and characteristic patterns of acting, thinking, and feeling.
Okay.
I meet maybe 70% of the criteria for a 4, 80%. You know what I mean?
Yep, totally.
But there are totally descriptions of 4s where I'm like, I don't relate to this, I don't relate to that. I do relate to this, I don't relate to. So again, it's really just the preponderance of evidence. Where does it lie?
Yes.
Most of it lies on 3, then own it.
Okay, so like here's something else that I don't feel like I'm a 3 at, and you tell me if
All
that's
right.
okay. It says that we bring work on vacation. I read that somewhere.
Right.
I mean, I'm great.
But do you
with
work at your
vacation.
play?
Say again?
Do you work at your play?
Do I work at my play?
Like in other words,
is my work my play?
Can you lay around the cottage all day long and do nothing and watch old episodes of Gilmore
at the
Girls?
beach, yes.
Oh, that's good. That's healthy.
Is that fun? I mean, yeah. Like I can binge. Like if we literally had nothing to do on a Saturday and the girls were sleeping and I have 2 hours, binge watching something on Netflix is like, I love it. So, but that doesn't feel very 3-like.
All I can tell you is, I think people want fast answers, right?
Yes.
You are a human being.
Yes.
You have a deep soul.
Yes.
You are a mystery to yourself and to other human beings. Neither the Enneagram, nor the StrengthsFinder, or DISC, or Myers-Briggs, or anything else can plumb the depths of who you are as a human being.
Yeah.
Right? These are low-resolution pictures of people. Okay?
It's fair. It's good.
So
It's
it
good.
takes time to sort of, and you have to be patient in a world that says, no, I want to take the 5, question test to figure out my personality. It's like, I'd kind of be insulted if 5 questions couldn't actually nail down my personality.
Totally.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'd be like,
Totally.
wow, that seems like I'm basically,
Yes.
talk about shallow, right? Or like easy to
right.
pick. No, the Enneagram is for personal transformation and development of self-knowledge. The very fact that you are struggling with it actually fulfills the mandate of the Enneagram, which is to deepen your self-knowledge. You're doing the work.
Yes.
You will land on it, trust me.
Yes.
You'll have a moment when you go, bang, that's my type.
Yeah.
It took me, like I said, 10 months. But I will say this, people say, well, why don't you just do something faster? Go take some fast test. And well, you get what you pay for in life. And if you want to do the work, I'm just telling you that what I've gained from knowing the Enneagram and the effort I put into it has been, the gain has been incalculable.
Yeah, totally. Oh, it's so tremendous. It's so helpful. And people say it all the time, but it's true. It puts words to relationships and people, and it gives you this language that I haven't had before.
Right.
Can
I ask you another question?
Yes.
How much of you don't think you're an 8, right?
No, but I do love I can get into it with people, and it doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I'm an 8?
No, I don't. You're an assertive type for sure. And 3, 7s, and 8s are very, very assertive. Other types.
Now, I feel safe in a relationship, I can go to conflict all day. I'm sure that's probably true with most people, but like.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. And that's fair. So if I feel safe.
No, we have conflict in my house, I retreat.
Okay. Yeah, if I feel safe in a relationship,
it's not easy for me.
I'm great with it. I can like.
Winston's not.
Go there. No. Mm-mm.
He's a withdrawing
processor.
type.
He's a processor.
Right.
Yes. But
you're an assertive type. He's a withdrawing type.
But he will, though.
Yes. Not as fast as you will.
No.
Takes more deliberation.
Yes.
Probably needs to tell you to stop talking and I need more time to think about it.
Yes. And he'll come back with a really great thing. Right. And I'm like, ooh, that's good to think about.
Right.
But our fights we do not yell. We're not yellers.
Right.
It's actually pretty like.
Measured.
It is. It really is.
Right.
We're frustrated, and at the end, if we say we've got to go to counseling for this, we know that we can't solve it on our own.
Right.
We will, but yes, but yeah, he's measured for sure, and he's thought through it, and he knows.
Right.
Yes. Well, that was so fun, Ian. How much do I owe you for this session? Good therapy. Okay, I'm a 3. I'm owning it now.
We'll own it for a while. See if it fits.
Yes, so great. Guys, if you've not checked out Ian's book, The Road Back to You, make sure to do that. His podcast, Typology, is phenomenal, and he has a new assessment out. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the IEQ9 is the most accurate and I think comprehensive Enneagram assessment available. And they can get it by going to my website, ianmorgancron.com.
Okay.
And they can just go to the tab that says IEQ9. There's 2 levels, standard and pro version. I'm amazed at how great the thing is.
Oh, I can't wait. I want to take it. Figure out for sure, solidify that I'm a 3, but I'm getting there. Thanks, Ian, for coming. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. It was so fun, I can say selfishly for me, getting to have that conversation, but I hope you enjoyed listening in. To get anything from this episode, make sure to click the link in the show notes. And as always, if you feel the need to leave a review, we welcome that. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you automatically get these episodes right to you. You don't have to go search for them. It's the best. It's convenient. We love it. And remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. So if you guys enjoyed this podcast, we have more from the Ramsey Network, like The Ken Coleman Show.
According to a recent Gallup poll, nearly 70% of Americans are disengaged at work. If you dread going into work every Monday morning and you're just trying to make it to the weekend, The Ken Coleman Show is for you. Everyone has a sweet spot. Your sweet spot is at the intersection of your greatest talent and greatest passion. We will help you discover what it is you were born to do, and then we'll help you create a plan to make your dream job a reality. You matter, and you have what it takes. Join the conversation on The Ken Coleman Show.
To hear full episodes, just search Ken Coleman wherever you listen to podcasts or go to kencolemanshow.com.